We going live already?
And we live.
Oh
We
shit, it's
live.
6:33.
We live. We live. What's
Damn.
up, y'all? What's up? What's up? We are here for the Rockman. Don't be jealous because I'm about to make you jealous that you don't have the same talent. I had a Wanda Vision of love, and it was more than you give it to me. What's up, y'all? We back again for the WandaVision of Love podcast panel season finale extravaganza episode
Woo!
9 in this month. So I'm your host, Rhayne Coleman, the Carefree Black Nerd himself, Carefree Blurred on Twitter, Carefree Black Nerd everyone else, and I have with me two very special panelists chopping it up tonight. Please let these listeners know, these viewers know who is on the mic and cam with me today.
Well, of course, I'm Rockman 3K3 from the fantabulous and awesome The Nerd Plate. You can check us everywhere, The Nerd Plate, as well as you can check everywhere else, The Nerd Plate. Basically, The Nerd Plate everywhere, at Nerd Plate on Twitter. I'm also the director and creator of Virtuous Armaments. It's a great sci-fi podcast. You guys check it out, please. I'm honored to be here today on the show with these great gentlemen. I can't wait to talk about some crazy stuff that just happened. So, yeah, thank you, Mr. Rhayne Coleman. Thank you for letting me be on Carefree Black Nerd, sir.
Man, thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. And of course, we cannot continue. We couldn't have a finale if we didn't have homeboy from what Haley said last time from Agatha's basement. What's up?
No, I got the blue on this time. I'm repping my boo Monica Rambo this time.
Okay.
We repping some Monica this time. So I am Ivy from Ivy's podcast at Ivy No Carter. You can find me on Apple Podcasts. You can find me on Spotify. Apparently, you can find me on Google Play and iHeartRadio. I had no idea, but I'm on there too. And I had to put my YouTube in my name because I just dropped my first ever just review. Well, not review, but think piece. So we got more reviews coming. So I'm gonna be dropping on YouTube about 3 times a week. So check out, keep up for my YouTube. I'm doing visuals, all that. So
okay. So of course these links will be in the show notes, man. We got Ivy, we got Rockman. Before getting started, listeners and viewers, when you're watching this episode, when you're listening to it, use the hashtag IHAWVOL pod. Again, it's extremely long because the show was extremely ridiculous as well. All their links will be in the show notes, so check them out. Check out their show, support them. And Ivy, you got the new YouTube. Better go get them numbers up, man. Hit that video he just dropped.
Yeah, man. I went up 10 subscribers this week. I was happy the motherfucker.
Hey, come on,
honestly.
Let's make it a solid 20 or 30. Let's make it a solid 20 or 30.
This.
Okay, so episode 9, literally entitled episode 9. Okay, so quick synopsis. The events of WandaVision come to a head, and the destinies of all who took part in there are determined in their honor. But yeah, so how we feeling, man? How we feeling? 9 episodes came in with. What are our general thoughts? How we feeling about the show?
Marvel did it again, man. They did it again. They can't lose, baby. They don't miss. And everybody who told me like, yo, like it's not gonna be good, man. That shit's corny. Yeah. What's up now? What's up now? I bet we ain't saying that on episode 9. We weren't saying that on 3. What's up?
Man,
for everybody that was talking shit, talking about this show ain't nothing in episode 1, I ain't trying to hear it. Because niggas said, "Oh, this is real." I said, "Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought." We hype, nigga. We hype, nigga.
Over the death row. No,
let's go. Yes, sir.
You want to see Batman and Superman dancing in the video?
Come on over to Marvel.
Let's see you. I'm with y'all.
They out here.
The naysayers, man. I said this before, and I hate to keep beating the dead dog, but when them first 2 episodes dropped, the people were like, "Oh, this is boring. Why is it black and white?" I'm like, do you seriously believe that Marvel, who gave us a solid decade of back-to-back hits and continuity, even like you really think they're gonna give us 2?
They got 3 misses. They only got 3 misses. They only got 3 misses.
Even that, like they've set this up in a way that okay, so first 2 episodes dropped. I believe the 4th one was the first one in color. Was it the 3rd?
No, the 3rd one was the first one in color.
Okay.
The fourth one was the fourth one's first one out of the sitcom thing.
That explained everything. What can you remember that first feeling when you watched episode 4? Once you saw the kind of taking it back to episode 1, 2, 3, then bringing us forward with the explanations. How was that for you?
That was so crazy for me because that was basically like, yo, we in House of M vibes. I know they're gonna do it. I feel it. You know, you just got the bigger picture, and they kept putting in like a lot of clues with the commercials. You know, it was like, yo, something bigger is happening. Yeah. And then when they kind of brought in, because I think that was when they brought in the blip situation, and then it was
that
just
was
like
the shit right there.
Yes. I was like, y'all can't tell me this ain't gonna be amazing. Y'all can't tell me this ain't gonna be what? So I was in on one because I was like, there's something going on here, and I like how they did that. Yeah. And then when 4 was just like, yo, this is the situation, I was like, oh, yeah, okay. I was right.
So what about you, Ivy, man? When you saw what was actually the end game of it all, were we kind of going back in time, but really just explaining what's your initial episode 4 reaction?
So I actually went through, and because I'm gonna lead this into what my actual reaction was.
Okay, go ahead.
So if anybody knows me, as like they know, I'm big into X-Men. So one of my favorite shows was Legion back when they first came out on FX, and that being one of those shows that, because you're dealing with such an Omega level mutant, you have to go a different route and explain it. So I tweeted this on February 3rd, 2020. I said, I need WandaVision. I need the WandaVision show to tap into the weirdness and visual creativity of Legion. They did not disappoint.
Yo, I applaud that, bro.
February 3rd,
so true.
February 3rd,
so true.
February 3rd, 2020.
He got receipts.
And it did not disappoint. It did not disappoint. That's what I was typing. I made sure to find the receipts. And I needed this, and I'm loving the fact they did a different version of the snap or the blip, because dealing with them being children, they were because with Spider-Man Far From Home, they're kids, so of course they're going to approach from a comedic way because they're kids, they don't give a fuck. But when you're dealing with, I said, dang, because in their mind they were gone from 8. They thought they were like sleep for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
right.
To them, not shit really happened. They said, dang, we took a nap or something. They said, nah. You've been gone for 5 years, bro. Like, I don't know what you thought this was. Like her dealing with her mother dying, and it's everything's just opening up more and more. What the hex was, we didn't know what was going on. Episode 4 was perfect. It was perfect. It was the best way to tie it. It's the best way to, because that's kind of the Act 2 point. Once you get to Act 2, Act 1 is setting the stage. Once you get to Act 2, you have to really start hammering in on the conflict. Who your antagonist is. That's the whole point. So once they got to that moment, I said, okay, we're getting busy at this point now. Like, shit's getting real.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much more I can say that you guys have already said. I just know that I was always fond of the show. I was always fond of what was going to come, not just because I liked Wanda from the comics, but just knowing the sheer volume of her power.
Right.
Not even from the comics, just what we've seen in the movie, like her fighting Thanos. Like, I'm like, give this woman just a little bit more time and focus. And so I do like that they're playing in this sandbox of, there is a continuity in the comics. There are things that happen. We can deviate from that, being the MCU, a whole nother timeline. But then, like, let's pick and choose what. Like, I just like this character study. This instead of having a trilogy with the first one being an origin story, we have 9 episodes of what it was to go from Wanda to this early 2000s Beyonce Destiny's Child character, because that Wanda started with me, Survivor vibes. But like, I really appreciate it. And again, I've said this on a few podcasts, but I think the idea of grief and how it played into the larger world, I think they did a stellar job with Wanda and with Monica, where they kind of, I feel like, dropped the ball with Steve and Endgame when he had that like support group. I feel like
yeah.
the grief didn't hit the same.
Well, and if I could
because
come in. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say because you're trying to tackle this 3-hour movie in like eight fucking characters, so you don't really get a chance to. You don't really get a chance to, because Endgame itself could have been 2 movies. You don't really get a chance to dive into everybody and what they're feeling. When you're dealing with characters like Wanda and Vision, and they're newer characters, even though they have some of the most unique. They have the most like unique abilities. Their relationship is a little bit more nuanced than we can explain. You can't give them that much screen time, because when you first see them kind of falling in love, you first see them falling in love in Civil War, but you're not noticing it because you're so focused on Cap and Iron Man shit. You're seeing Black Panther go stupid. You're watching Spider-Man for the first time. You're not noticing it. And so by the time Infinity War hits, this nigga's getting stabbed and he not ill no more. Like, he got stabbed and he went shit after that. So like, and this is the time to get what they really are, because you go ahead and go. Because I was just gonna say their relationship is just cool. They're interesting characters.
And I was just gonna pick it back because you guys brought up some very interesting points. Mr. Ivy, especially, bro. I'm gonna piggyback on your character development where you're talking about the sympathies and Rhayne, you kind of touched on this too, between Scarlet Witch and Monica. I thought that was really cool, to how Monica was the only person on the field that understood how she was feeling, because when Monica came back, all she knew is, hey, your mom's dead, Sword moved on, and hey, there's nothing you can do about it. And she's like, I feel her grief, because, you know, Vision was taken from her, and there's nothing she can do. And then to go back to your point, Rhayne, of just like making, like how they made Scarlet Witch so powerful fondly, is that a lot of people don't know, like if you didn't read the comics, a lot of people don't know how powerful Scarlet Witch is. I'm going to reference back, and I'm going to go back to Age of Apocalypse, where when your man Apocalypse, you know, the whole incident happened between Magneto, Legion, and Xavier. And Xavier jumps in the bullet for Magneto. Xavier's dead. So it's like, Apocalypse is like, all right, cool. The next person we're going to kill is Wanda. And they're like, what? And he's like, trust me, kill her. And when he killed her, he took over the entire fucking world. Nobody can stop him. And a lot of people don't know, and I had to explain to someone the other day, I was like, what people don't understand is that Wanda at her most powerful can literally change reality. Like her powers are to change probability in luck fields, but it turns into reality if she has certain power boosters. I was like, people forget that, you know,
she has an inverse version of Domino.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's. I was just about, right, and I was just about to say that, and people forget that, like, you know, House of M happened because Xavier and Doctor Strange were right there, and she said, "Yo, mutants," and like, boom, like before everyone knew it, with the exception of Wolverine, because he was falling out a window and his brain rehealed, and her failsafe butterfly. Like, the whole world was pretty much made in her image. That's how strong she can be. And so I love that they kind of tease that a little bit in the show, to where they're like, well, she just made this one cube of reality that, you know, changes everything. And I thought that was really cool, as well as them kind of touching on her murky past, because in the comics, you know, at first, when we really were introduced to her and Quicksilver, we just automatically thought, okay, that's Magneto's kids, because he claims them and such. But it's not until you go back in the backstory of High Evolutionary and, you know, okay, during the events of Schism, Wanda finds out that Magneto lied to them about actually being parents and all this other bullshit, that you find out, like, oh, okay, cool. Like, kind of like what they did in this, she's a mutant all along, which, you know, they couldn't use the term mutant, so they were like, well, she interacted with the Tesseract. Yeah, she's a miracle. And that was a good way around the agreement without actually compromising anything, because she was still technically a mutant, because they even show in that one episode where her and Agatha are going back to remember, she's like, so you already had it, but the Tesseract brought it out, you know what I'm saying? So I thought that was really cool and a great touch, man.
What is that shit? What is that shit that they were hinting at? Because at one point Marvel, because they didn't have the in MCU, they didn't have the rights to X-Men. What was that bullshit? No, they had some shit where, like, oh, you get near these things and you're you're talking
about Inhumans. Yeah, they were gonna do that.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, they're trying to do the Terrigen Mist in the Humans, but they fucked up. They fumbled that bad.
I don't know, man. It's so strange to even see, and I know this is kind of slightly off, but that they didn't do well with the Inhumans when you built the MCU off the back of Iron Man, who wasn't a household name at that point. So it's like, how do you drop the ball so bad? I can
tell exactly why that happened.
Go ahead.
The guy that Kevin Feige ended up replacing, he was the same guy that said pretty much Captain Marvel and Black Panther, because they're minority characters, like one's a woman, one's a black guy, that they can't sell tickets. So they want to introduce them back in phase 2, but they didn't allow them. So the whole thing about this specifically is the fact that he didn't have the rights to X-Men, so he wanted to push the Inhumans. He just kept trying to push him. Feige said, hey, like, we kind of had, this is 2017 at the time. He said, hey, we're kind of working on something. Like, don't be forcing the Inhumans because we can give you something else. And he's like, no, we need to push the Inhumans. We need to push it. Because he wanted to rival X-Men that badly. So he fumbled that the fuck all the way.
Yeah,
he
did. Are not interesting to me, but I have, like, they could be the royal family. Medusa and Black Bolt alone can give you that Scott and Jean endless love story to rival. So that was a big
but the way that they interpreted them is like, oh, they're hierarchy levels, so you can't make them empathetic either. It's the way they approach the story is just kind of fucked up.
The failed integration of Shield, that was because remember, Agents of Shield was supposed to be the kickoff point.
Yeah, they're doing the whole Terrigen crystals thing. They did that whole thing.
I remember that.
And when they fucked that up, it was just like, okay, well,
man, I don't know. I don't know. I'm happy with what we got. And with I know, Rockman, you mentioned the storied history or origin of Wanda and Pietro. I do like that. Whereas comic fans, a lot of things, especially with continuity, especially in the big two, it's trash. I think that the messed up and fractured origins that we have in continuity lends itself to a greater MCU, because now you pick and choose what like over the cow lady that like raised Pietro and Wanda. You can exclude her, but then also backdoor Eric into being their dad, or is Polaris around in this world? So I do like this idea that we have this.
I was actually just reading this. I was reading Avengers Decimated, and I was thinking about Polaris, because there was a whole. And because I follow a comic historian also. So it's like, once WandaVision coming to an end, so we're going to talk about the fallout of House of M and the whole Polaris story and how they had to Emma Frost had to like restart Bobby Drake's powers and shit.
Yes.
There's some shit they're really about to get into.
Speaking of all that, what's funny is you guys brought up the Inhuman, right? And the Terrigen Mist. That was, they believed so much in that startup. They even, in the comics, they sacrificed Quicksilver's power, and that's how he regained his power, as he went back to the Terrigen Mist, hung out with the Inhumans for a while, and then he's back to being a mutant again. Again, like you said, they can backdoor so much,
Yeah, like there's the very fact that Agnes recasted Pietro with the now again, I know there's so many theories, fan theories, there's stuff that we wanted to happen. I get that.
And his name is Rob Boner.
I think it's training the general audience to, I mean, they've done it already. Expect the unexpected. We're gonna give you a story, you take it in. But I think that it's levels to it. Kevin ain't no. He's smart. He's a smart man.
Kevin is the guy, man.
He is, because with her having that Book of Doom, bruh, anything's possible. Because not only in that scene when she has the Book of Doom, and she's sitting there and she's looking through it, she's still hearing in her mind the voices of her kids, which, of course, as you know, is the kickoff point for House of M. That was the whole, like, if she could have got over that loss of her children, it would have been fun. But because she can never get over that, and because Magneto's just sitting there with Xavier and had the Avengers and the X-Men come in and really talk about, hey, are we going to have to kill Wanda, or are we going to have to sedate her? It was a very trying time.
So. They're going to pull over Bobby Drake, talking about, hey, Bobby, ice this bitch.
Yeah. The amount of it's possibilities, and not that they weren't there before, but I think introducing Wanda, first of all, having Doctor Strange, having the Ancient One, however poorly casted, and having the event of Avengers Endgame and Infinity War.
You don't like Tilda Swinton?
Not as okay. She did what she needed to do for that check, and she did well enough, but.
It's you know what that's like seeing her in Constantine when she got cast as I think Gabriel is I'm like, so y'all to have nobody else. I mean, I get Keanu Reeves is not even Constantine. I get that, but at least he works well. But like nobody else, really. Or
Tilda Swinton, she's there for the check though. I mean,
she is.
That's fine, but you know, yeah, there's other Marvel, for as great as they are, they have dropped the ball on several occasions, and that was one of them, I feel. But having Wanda, having this immense power, like having us go on this journey with her, where now we're emotionally invested. I mean, I always was, you know what I'm saying? But you know, having the general public getting a better understanding of what her power is, and then holding her up to somebody like Iron Man, Captain America, you can see not that it's like a 1-to-1 even. She could whoop their ass. It's not that, but just seeing how different of a character she is in comparison to them. And then having a woman, that's another thing I fall back on. This woman with this immense power who is not go ahead, Ivy.
The one thing I'm about to say, because I know exactly what you're gonna say, because one thing, the reason why certain things like this don't bother me, when we look at things like Captain Marvel, and I remember getting a haircut. In my barber saw it too, and that's how you feel about it. He said it was cool, but he said I saw like the look in my daughter's eyes, and then that was important to her, so I was cool with it. And I said, yeah, like things like that matter. Like representation to a certain extent matters, and they kind of fumble with Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel's fine and everything, but you're getting more from Scarlet Witch that we have not really seen before, because Chadwick Boseman passed away. Rest in peace. We're about to get Shuri as Black Panther. You're about to get Spectrum. That kind of shit really doesn't matter to get on screen, and like we're going to see that there's some power. Because as of now, Gish says it's not like she's the most powerful. I mean, until the mutants come over, she is the most powerful. Because I think if you rank the Omega level mutants all together, Wanda ranks in the 20s.
Yeah,
but her being in the 20s is still the most powerful. She's still the most powerful out of the MCU, because once the mutants come over, you still have Professor X, still get Legion, Franklin Richards, Jean Grey.
But then, what version of those characters we're going to get in the MCU? They may not be. You know, she may be the powerful mutant, but she also may be the stand-in for what Jean Grey was in the Fox universe. So even with them introduced, until they give us this backstory and whatever else, you know.
Oh yeah, she's powerful. She's the most powerful as of now. Period. There's no discussion about it.
Yeah,
she was about to pull that nigga. She was about to pull that nigga Thanos apart like he was a brisket on God.
What?
And he said, "I don't even know who you are."
In that leather coat, she wasn't playing.
You took everything from me.
No, you know it's hot outside. She had that leather coat.
Man, you in Wakanda. You was in Africa. You not hot, sis. Like,
listen. I hate to do this, but hot take. Was that her ceiling moment where she was like, everything you done to me did already been done to you?
First of all, yes, but also, bro, come on. Yeah,
man, it's just you see her get ill moments, because even in Infinity War, she took old girl and threw her into the blade. Okoye says, "Now why wasn't she out here? We had her up there. Why wasn't she? We could have been getting this with us,
man." Okay,
protecting that damn robot. Like why,
Sam? With this episode,
so
with us getting the pinning in the 9-episode run, we good. Give me a moment or two that in this episode you was just like, you know, that's maybe not. Well, yeah, that's my favorite scene. That's what stuck out to me the most. Like, what's the moment in episode 9 that you was like, all right, this
Vision and White Vision.
Was that not a great throwback? White Vision. I was just like. And the comics and the arcade game, because I'm a huge video gamer, of course, everybody knows. But when I saw that, I was like, the arcade Vision?
It it reminded me of as egregious as this movie is. I do not like the movie, but I thought the book had a lot of cool little moments like this in it. It reminded me of iRobot a lot. And kind of like you're seeing the complete ancient version talking to the factory version, and they're equally as intelligent, so they can see eye to eye. But one has humanity and the other doesn't. Then he made that nigga woke, and his eyes came big and said, "I am Vision," and he flew off. I said, "Boy, think about those soul searching."
Let's go. Let's go.
That did it for me. That honestly, I think, and I like that their battle, like they did the whole Goku Super Saiyan fight, but their literal battle was the battle of the mind.
Mentality, yes.
I'm like, it was satisfying for me. I was like, okay, we saw them fight.
Unlike DC movies where it's like I relinquish my wish. Ooh, sorry.
hey. That's not the worst DC movie ever.
It's not. That's the sad part. It's not. Martha and Justice League still take it.
Man, but that's I'm with y'all. That fight and having it in the library, like something about like the whole. I'm just like
they're circling around, books everywhere, and they're just talking.
It's kind of it reminds.
No, go ahead.
I was about to say. It reminds me of that final talk of Ultron and Vision at the end of Age of Ultron, right before Ultron tried to attack him again. And again, these are both AI. They're very intelligent, smart. And there's this eye to eye, and Vision and Ultron, because of how they were created, they were never meant to see where each other coming from. Yeah, and it kind of showed me. To say, no matter you can try to recreate Vision. You can try to recreate him. He can be without the Mind Stone. Vision will always be Vision, and I thought that was the coolest thing ever. So Vision is really coming back. I felt comfort knowing that Vision is going to
be back. That was the perfect let me educate you, brother, in a jail cell. I was just like, look at this dude. Get his coffee on.
White Vision left that hex Muslim. That nigga White Vision left the hex Muslim.
Man, and I really thought the show's gonna go sideways, and Wanda's vision when he was like, if the ship is replaced plank by plank, is it ever truly the ship? I thought
that was beautiful.
White Vision was going to kill himself because he's like, if your main goal is to kill Vision, and I can psychologically turn you around so that you're convinced we are both Vision and we are both not Vision at the same time, then you got to kill yourself. But him leaving, that was better. But
because I was with you. I thought it was gonna be a logic bomb. I was like, oh shit, he dropped a logic bomb on him. Oh shit, and I mean he just he just enlightened him, and instead of blowing up, he was just like, you're right, and he just disappears. And I'm like, that is awesome. That's amazing.
It's like he hit him with the thumb, like he was like a preacher or some shit, and like made that nigga like enlightenment, bro. I said,
nigga fell back. He fell back and then just flew off. Like
when I say
that nigga got some church that day, boy.
Out of those clips, those in-game Infinity War, they using all those clips. They're not like we saw that story like 40 times in the last 2 episodes. So.
And okay, so I gotta say 2 things. One, and I'll get to my what my section was, but the one thing I will say is that one of the most significant impacts of this entire series, and I think we haven't touched on it yet because we all know it, but I don't think the listeners and the viewers know it, is that this series single-handedly made everybody go back and watch Age of Ultron again and have a completely different opinion. Like the movie wasn't so bad.
I went back and watched it, and I And I don't have a different opinion. It's still ass, but it makes you.
I mean,
some people was. But I will say, but I will say that it made people think about the dynamic of Scarlet Witch a little bit differently than what they.
She was underdeveloped.
Right, and it was a shotgun thing because I didn't like how the movie. I mean, I liked the movie. But I didn't like how they killed Quicksilver, so I was like, I wanted to see a Quicksilver. I wanted to keep that. I will never be over there. And I really hope there's something they'll do to bring him back because I think he was a great character. I like how they did him. I liked him better than they did in Fox, but But then my other thing was, I think one of my favorite scenes from episode 9 was the scroll and Spectrum, and like what that means, because that essentially, and this is just me foretelling. I don't know what's gonna happen.
Set that up for those who may not have seen it, who listening for whatever reason. What happened in that scene?
So in this scene, right? And it's one of the end credit scenes. I think it's the first end credit scene.
Yeah.
She gets called away. Like she's talking with Jimmy, and then some agent randomly comes up, calls her, and says, "Hey, you need it in the theater room." She's like, "All right, cool." She goes in there. She's like, "All right, who wants to talk to me? What's up?" And she's like, "He wants to talk to you." And she's like, "What do you mean?" And she turns back into a scroll, and she's like, "He wants to talk to you up there," which is referring to Nick Fury. And Spectrum's just like, "Oh shit, I could go extraterrestrial now."
Yeah.
But that only means she's going to be in Captain Marvel 2, which I see that coming. That probably means that the talks about Blue Marvel is going to happen as well.
Brother.
Which is, I was just like, I jumped out of my seat like, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes. Brother.
Yeah. Because what a lot of people don't know is they were part of the Ultimate Avengers team, which was Blue Marvel, Spectrum, Captain Marvel, Ms. Marvel, I think one of the Hulks, and I want to say Black Panther and somebody else, and they were the Ultimate Avengers going around.
Oh, okay.
In the comics,
the Ultimates or Ultimate Avengers?
No, Ultimate Avengers in the comics.
Okay, so I was like the Ultimates. We had American Chavez. She was in there too.
Yeah. Now look, we can do that too. I'm down for that too, because that was another good team. Because that was the only time you saw Blue Marvel show up, and you're like, "Yo, who is this weird black dude?" And he's stronger than Superman. Took on the Hulk in the comics.
Richards. Yeah.
And I was just like, "Yo, why didn't they use him more?" And then they started using him. So that opens up just a wealth of opportunities. And of course, the other hidden scene was my jam. Where she's reading, the Book of the Damned or the Book of Doom, because, like I said, basically she's hearing the voices of her kids. So that's still setting up the opportunity for, hey, let's bring mutants, or hey, let's all be good.
That was the one right there.
Let's go ahead and play that scene, the second post-credit scene, because I feel like. And then I'm going to play this in. I want you guys to listen to the sound, like the actual score, because it has been, the clip that I have has been cut together with another scene from a different movie. So a couple seconds here.
No, I've come to bargain.
That's one of my favorite Marvel clips ever of all time.
Okay.
That Dormammu shit is like one of my favorites ever.
Yeah. That I put him on that endless loop. I'm like, I'm a Marvel fan. I'm a Mutant stan. I'm kind of familiar with the cosmic of it all. I'm a little dabble into the magic, but I'm learning. I'm learning.
Man. When I tell you.
Go ahead.
I said, when I tell you we was in the theaters hyped for that shit, like it was me and my pops. We was watching Doctor Strange. He kept putting on a loop.
Yes.
I just stood up. I was like, bruh, this nigga's really doing this shit. I said, he got this nigga. He got this nigga. Like,
and on top of that, y'all, did y'all catch the Sorcerer Supreme reference in the episode? Where she's like, she's more powerful than Sorcerer. I was like, yes! Bring in the magic. Bring in Magic Verse. Let's go. Bring it in.
Let's go.
Bring it in. Because you already got Brando, or the character who was pissed off at him because he doesn't follow the rules of magic. You already got him gearing up, which is I think Sorcerer Supreme. Am I right on that? Or which one is he?
I don't know the name, but I completely forgot about his character.
Yeah, I remember being mad at the end of the movie. And he like huffed off. He like broke somebody back or killed him. And
so remember the dude that had the magic. He used magic to learn how to walk. So he took that nigga's magic and said, "No, nigga, this is my shit. It's my magic, punk." He deboed that nigga. It was magic, bro.
My dad gave me that magic. I'm with you there, and I'm excited to see. I'm just hoping Marvel don't sacrifice that black man for this, but I'm gonna leave it alone.
You don't want you to Ejiofor?
Yeah, I don't want him. I don't want him messed up behind her. Go ahead, Rockman.
I don't think they will, just because he's an anti-hero, even in the comics. Like he's almost like a counterforce to Doctor Strange, because it's at one point in the comic where Doctor Strange believes his own arrogance and he has to be brought down. But I think they're gonna keep him. I think they're gonna keep him because I think their big bad, like Dormammu, is gonna come. Like I feel like Dormammu, if he's not in the new Doctor Strange, he's gonna be in the third Doctor Strange movie, because that's the guy right there. I think
where
that's
Nightmare's
coming.
Gonna fall in at?
And see, that's what I was thinking about too. Nightmare, that's a good one. Like if he's not in the second one, because I believe that's what's gonna cause. Because they don't have Shadow King yet, since we don't have the mutants, and that's what caused the existential, like, okay, y'all, it's a new threat. We gotta because now you got the Secret Invasion going on. You got possible House of M, and then I forgot what Nightmare was in. That was a big crossover. But now that you got all of that, you have that. You have so many existential fears on all sides, and you got Nick Fury becoming the man on the wall, because now he's in space. He just chilling. He like, yo, I gotta see everything from space, and sending the scrolls out.
Hey.
I think the big bad's coming.
So because initially on the slate, if COVID never hit, we were supposed to be getting Multiverse of Madness like in 2 months. Right. Last episode I was on with Rhayne, we were talking about the book that was missing, and it went one ear and out the other. I cannot remember the exact name of the book it is anymore, but I know we kept talking about it had like a vibe with Necronomicon. And so with me dealing with, I'm a big film nerd. They hired on Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi did my favorite horror movie series of all time, the Evil Dead series, where he dives into doing the Necronomicon, and they're like all these fucking crazy possession shit happens.
True.
That's why I'm kind of onto the notion that I wonder, because I know I feel that Nightmare is going to be used. I know that was the original idea, the original director, but there's no way you can't use them dealing with Sam Raimi. And I'm kind of curious on, because they're giving Doctor Strange 3 movies. They're not about to let this thing just have one.
Yeah.
They give this nigga 3.
Yeah.
I look at him and Scarlet Witch the way I looked at Iron Man and Captain America, like going into the new phases. Like they are. Not even thinking like real world, like contracts for movies, that stuff aside, like we've kind of phased out of the old guard and we've got the new, for you to have a Ironheart, Spectrum, Wanda, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, like
She-Hulk.
And at one point, Spider-Man's having a big point in this story too, because his story's gonna do with the multiverse.
Yeah,
it was just like,
man, what a time to
title No Way Home.
Yeah, dude, seriously, because it's like they have so many ways they can go, and as a comic book fan, you're just all over the place. Because like regular people, like the MCU fans, are just like, okay, this is neat, but why are y'all so excited? We just like, you don't even know.
We're just like, yeah,
it's
big hype.
Right, and I mean and another thing that's crazy that was one of the recent arcs. This is back. And I say recent, but it's like 4 or 5 years ago. But I mean, even with them now having Deadpool, you can have Deadpool and Doctor Strange, versus the Magic Verse, because they went hunting to make sure, okay, the Marvel Universe is rid of magic because this magic occult. So you have so much stuff they can just possibly do. And I mean, because most of these story arcs, they don't have to spend a whole movie on. It could just be in the movie if it makes sense. Just don't do DC where they have 15 things going at one time. You don't know what the hell you're doing, whether you're doing Injustice or, Flashpoint Paradox, but whatever. Not going to get on DC.
I'm going to send you a video I made, because I was just talking shit about DC in my last video. I said,
yes, please do, man. Please do. Please.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm hopeful. Again, what a time to be alive. Kids now, I'm going to sound like that old man. Kids don't know how good they got it.
Man,
legit, because everybody knows my favorite hero of all time, no matter what. My favorite hero, the one that I grew up with, is Spider-Man. So just like watching all the iterate, because I'm talking about, like, I was 6 when the first Spider-Man came out. We were like, what the fuck are we looking at? Spider-Man 2 drops, classic. We just sitting there like distraught. And I'm looking up. I said, bro, imagine if I was a child watching Homecoming, watching Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, Far From Home, and now he's about to be doing a fucking multiverse with the other Spider-Man, nigga.
Man,
along with we got the nigga Spider-Man too. Like we have a lot going on.
He has a video game. Did y'all ever think Miles Morales would be like a top selling video game? I never
Marvel. No, me and Rhayne talked about it. We said, Miles was such he was a coon character. He said, man, why I gotta be the black Spider-Man? Why can't I just be Spider-Man? Nigga, nigga, look in the mirror. What you mean, why are you a black Spider-Man? Do you see yourself?
You are, young man, young blood. So yeah, I just
man,
again, what a time to be alive, man. When I started my podcast about 5 years ago, the premise was I want to discuss black characters and representation in comic books. And the one consistent comment that I had gotten from so many people was, well, will you even have enough content for more than like 3 or 4 episodes? And I was like, okay, now I have to do it even more because you as general public think that there's only 3 or 4. And so
it's so many. Across, and the problem is that people don't go across. They don't go outside Marvel or DC for that matter. They don't know about Spawn. They don't know about like so many of the other Image heroes, like Gen 13 heroes. They don't know about the Wildcats. They don't know
Gen 13. Come on,
man. And like 100 Bullets. They don't know about all the other shit that's outside the major 2. They just know.
All right. My shit was growing up. I was a brokey, so I used to go to Half Price Books a lot. Exo Manowar. I used to Exo Manowar comics because they was like 50 cents. Man. So like he had like that weird planet, like the spider planet, and that's what gave me like an exoskeleton. Yeah, that's the shit.
Like to see what we are now.
Any of that, man. None of that.
From there, this is. I'm going to I was nervous about this recording because I was so freaking excited. Like I was like on edge all day, like, oh shit,
man.
Get some more of that WandaVision, what I'm saying?
Man. And it was crazy, y'all, is that we got literally, I think they have a week of break where I think they're gonna show the making of the next week for this. And then right after that, we're going right into Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Now let's stop there. Let's rest there for a second. I have my feelings. Y'all feel about coming off of this 9-episode journey. How are you?
Do I have to say my feelings, bro? Do I have to say my feelings, bro?
I mean,
because I'll be on your head always. I've been on your head these last 2 weeks. And here's the thing. I do like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I just don't think you can. I don't think you can piggyback.
How do you top this? Right? Like how do you?
I think because I've been saying from the beginning, Falcon and Winter Soldier should have gone first because once you get weird, because also we're getting after you get into Loki, which is going to be in the vein of like how Rick and Morty was. You need to have the regular shit go first and then get the weird shit out the way later because this is. I think at this point now, WandaVision is the highest streamed show. Period.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
because the way that it breaks the servers. It's on a different level, like to the point where I can't even avoid spoilers anymore. I used to avoid spoilers of every single show. I can't avoid spoilers at all. This is a big medium. I don't think Falcon and the Winter Soldier can do that.
Well,
I don't think Anthony Mackie got the juice like that.
Okay, so hear me out on that.
Go ahead, Robin. What's
Ivy is completely right. I don't know if he has the juice like that. Now, granted, I loved his Netflix movie, Something Blind. I love that. Yeah,
Alter Carbon.
Captain America.
Right. And I think this is going to lead, like with him and Winter Soldier. I think the cool thing is like this is like reading comic books. So Doctor Strange Wanda is gonna be weird. That Loki is going to be weird. Loki just create mischief. And then, this one is like serious real-time spy action stuff. I think they're doing that because they're all leading to something and it's all going to like pop pretty soon because this is if everybody thinks about it, this is all what happened right after the funeral. Like Wanda gets pissed off and depressed and leaves right after the funeral. Those two, they're going out to do whatever, and then Loki is still off in the timeline, so we don't know what the hell he did or what he's going to cause.
He's in prison.
Loki's about to meet Mephisto. On God,
Mm.
that nigga Loki, he just refused to learn. That nigga Loki he got a second chance at life without knowing he got a second chance at life, and he's wasting.
He got 400, but no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, and I think somebody probably will tell him or show him, because we are dealing with time and jumping through time police and stuff. Somebody will probably show him, like, look, nigga, you
on that bullshit. You died.
yeah.
They said you said you was out here faking your death in front of the dark elves. You thought we forgot about that? We ain't forget about that. You was out here having Matt Damon play you.
Oh God, that was terrible. That was terrible.
Was hilarious.
You see the set? They did the set piece from Thor: Love and Thunder, and they got Matt Damon there again.
Yes. Oh, man. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. And I agree with you. It's gonna be hard to top that because they just came out all guns blazing. And I think because if you look at where WandaVision started and then you look at where it ended, if you put those together,
9
that's
episodes,
like
by the way.
Yeah, 9 episodes. If you put all that together, that's like 3 Wanda movies in one. You know what I'm saying? And you got the complete feel of Wanda.
6 hours.
You're like, like I totally understand Wanda now. Okay, and so now when you get to Captain, because I think Falcon and Winter Soldier is only 6 episodes. I think that's the plan.
But okay,
it might be 6 to 9. I know it was between. They said they wanted to keep it short because they wanted to keep that same spirit. Like I think it's gonna be the same way. Is I think you're gonna look at it now their show might be an hour. Yeah. And I think it's honestly. So I mean, honestly, if you look at that, this is like them giving them their own movies. So I like this because it's like even if they don't get a second season, you're gonna see them again because the way their stories are just going off. It's like, oh, okay, we're gonna see her again. Like we're gonna see Scarlet Witch again. We're gonna see Vision again.
Sure.
And,
as a film. So, a question: as a film fan, is it safe to say? I said, as a film fan, because I had this conversation like last week with a friend, because we were talking about the idea that I told them, I said, I think Star Wars' biggest mistake in the Disney era was trying to give us a trilogy. I said, because I think in this era, the trilogy is dead. And I don't think Star Wars understood that when they decided to drop. Because a trilogy in a way boxes you in if you're trying to tell a big story. Because the way that your arc is trying to tell, especially if you're doing piggybacking off of something, you have to address older things while starting something new, go through your own story arc, and set up something else afterwards. Yeah. I think now that the act of the trilogy is dead, you can kind of we're into this actual cinematic universe now. So looking at, we got a full, really 3 movies out of Wanda and Vision. Yeah. Probably gonna get it again from. What's the nigga's name?
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Falcon Winter Soldier. See, I keep forgetting who they are.
Look, Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Shaw. That's the
No, I agree with you, Ivy. I especially think that Disney, I think, paid attention to Netflix's mistake. Everything doesn't have to be 13 episodes. You can tell a solid story in less than 13. And you don't even have to do a whole hour. Wanda was never an hour. This last episode was like 40-something minutes.
40 minutes, yeah.
My sweet spot is actually 9 to 10 episodes because I said the only shows that can get away with doing over 10 episodes really are comedies because you have situational comedy. So you have a lot of things you can pull from. If not that, you can get away with just give me 8 to 10 episodes. We don't need 13. We don't need to be over an hour long each. And also, every streaming service is realizing Netflix fucked up by when they used to drop all their episodes at once. Them dropping all their episodes at once, man. Oh my God.
I like that, but I do agree with you on the 13 not being needed because that's what happened with Luke Cage. Luke Cage was perfectly. I think it ended 2 episodes, and then they went 2 episodes too far. It was like, okay, we didn't need that, but in the first season, and then second season was just like
episode 7. Because episode 7 of Luke Cage shit gets busy. You're like, okay, it's getting lit, and then 10 hits. You're like, damn, we still got. Because I was in college when Luke Cage dropped, and I'm just like, bruh, we got how many more episodes of this to watch? I said, damn. I said, what is the story going to end?
And you're right, because it was.
If you're going to do the binging model, make it short.
Well, and then not only that, like the problem is, so there's a lot to do in terms of framing the story and make sure things are okay. Because going back to Star Wars, I don't think the trilogy is necessarily dead. The trilogy model is dead. I think Star Wars' biggest fuck up was they had way too much shit to begin to explain in the first fucking place. And then when you tell this new audience, okay, you see all that shit we had, the auto universe, none of that matters. So this is all that matters.
And that's what I'm.
Then you're cracking the mind. Yeah, because I mean, look at Rey, for example.
That's what I mean, because
Rey was all over the place. Rey was like the great Jedi that could, basically, because she didn't hold to any rules. She knew how to pull a lightsaber like in minutes, whereas Luke was in Hoth for like what, a month, just doing this, trying to get his lightsaber out of the snow. Whereas here's Rey basically just channeling her inner like Starkiller. You know what I'm saying? Which, if everybody didn't know who Starkiller is, you know.
Yes, from Star Wars Force Unleashed.
Yeah, he was the man.
He pulled like he pulled a fucking Star Destroyer out the sky. Like, and if you want to know, since I like to read screenplays, so the original screenplay for episode 9, before they removed those guys and replaced them with J.J. Abrams, came out. It's supposed to be called Duel of the Fates. So the whole trilogy is based around you're introducing the older characters again. You're getting into you're introducing older characters again. Luke has his own storyline. Leia is actually the forefront of episode 9. She passed, literally the actual draft of that film was like 3 days before she passed. She was the forefront of episode 9, so she's getting a big story. You still got 4 fucking characters that you introduced who are new. That's why I said that art of the trilogy is dead, because the traditional art of story, that traditional shit, it just doesn't work anymore. Because
you can't, and I think you can't, especially Star Wars, you cannot tell, like you said, they don't have the room to tell that full story in those 3 movies, because there was just so much left. Like, why was Kylo Ren why did Luke try to kill Kylo Ren? You know, why was Kylo Ren just automatically on the dark side? Why was Rey this lost like child that we found out later was Palpatine? Like, it wasn't enough information for people it doesn't cohesively fit. Like, for people like us, you know, we know the backstory, but for everybody, and even then, even when I knew the backstory, I was like, okay, but this still doesn't fit. Even when in that second one with Rian Johnson, where Finn and thank you, Ryan Johnson, where Finn and the other girl just go on this adventure that literally is a side quest, and they come back and he's like, hey, we don't need it. Cool. This is what we're actually going to do. And it's like, why would you put that in the film? You know, like that's...
This is a lot. Star Wars, especially, I'm not a fan. But everything that you all have said, I grew up on Star Wars. Is precisely why I'm not a fan. It's because for me, it being an entry-level character, which I think speaks a lot to, again, the success of Marvel, being an entry-level viewer, everything you said just went over my head. I don't want to come in a movie and you say all this stuff doesn't matter. Whereas if we get something like this, like we get our WandaVisions, you may have seen her here and there throughout the Avengers films, and if you're just a casual viewer, you get the hype of episode 3, 4, 5. Everybody is now watching WandaVision. Let me watch this. I feel like the way that they've structured this season and the shows going forward, you can be brand new, not having seen any of Infinity War, Endgame, and still get the full story for Wanda. So to your point, Ivy, I think I agree with you as far as the way Star Wars handles their stories, because that's always the thing that stopped me from ever wanting to dive into that universe, because there's
too much outerverse, too much.
Yeah. And to say that
like you had books, you got to
read the book. You have to read the books at one time to get an understanding. But I'm not gonna lie, that new era that they announced, they're getting into just the one-offs. They have the Bad Batch coming out. They have the Rogue Squadron joints. They are getting into their one-off bag, and that's what I've been wanting for Star Wars since I was a kid. They are about to give you some shit, bro. That sounds like everybody can get into.
That sounds a little like give me something I can sink my teeth into, like The Mandalorian, and still feel like I'm part of this fandom. So now I can go and search on my own. I don't want you're supposed to watch 7, 8, 2, and 3, then X, and then go back, like, you know. So
I always tell people, I was telling people I don't give a fuck about no Jedi, no Sith. I'm just trying to see a good story, nigga. Like I don't give a fuck about who's right and who's wrong. Give me a good motherfucking story.
How is it only can George Lucas and the Star Wars Lucas Arts whole little franchise fuck up the numbering so bad it was like they did the whole Final Fantasy Japan America thing to where it's like, well, 1 is actually 4 and 2 is actually 5, 3 is actually 6, but if you go back, this is the pre-sequels and then this is the
I blame Steven Spielberg. I don't know how, but I'm gonna blame Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure it out, and I'm gonna come back to y'all with the mathematics. But I blame Steven Spielberg.
Okay. So make sure y'all check out Ivy's podcast. He's gonna give you the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Oh man. Okay. So getting because we're getting close to time here with season 1 gone. Well, I ain't gonna say season 1 with the show done because I don't know if we get no season 2 of WandaVision. 9 episodes done. At the end, we got the transformation of Wanda into the Scarlet Witch. Where do we go from here? You as a fan, true enough, we don't know, what's going to happen. But as a fan, where do we go from here? Where does Wanda go? What's next?
Mutants.
Yeah, thank you. I said the same thing. Listen, I'm making the predictions right now. X-Men gonna come through. Gambit's finally gonna get a movie. Because I've been like
starring Channing Tatum, like we've been promised for over 10 years. Man, they've been promising that movie for a long ass time.
Look, give me somebody new. I listen. Unless Channing Tatum still has it, give me somebody new. But we're gonna finally see a Gambit movie. We're gonna finally see Storm on screen. It's not that I don't think. I would have to see him in action. I had to see him. I have to see the test.
He's a good actor. He's a good actor. I'm not gonna cap.
To be Gambit.
Yeah, no, like he's gotta like because you gotta be the Raging Cajun with what I'm saying with the card tricks, with the swagger, with the coolness.
I'm trying to think of a white boy that can be Gambit outside of Channing Tatum.
And it's tough,
I would say
man.
Tom Hardy, but everybody wants Tom Hardy to play Wolverine.
That's interesting. There's a guy who did a fan film.
I like him.
I thought he did good. He cast his own Rogue, Yana. Like I thought that whole little fan film was good. If Marvel, what I'm saying, if they take their route and expand on that,
But I agree with Mr. Ivy on that one. The mutants, they gotta come through now because there's a new threat. Like you already see Sword getting in their whole like these superheroes might be a problem. And, you already see S.H.I.E.L.D. doing the S.H.I.E.L.D. thing where they're like, okay, we don't really exist, but we do exist. It's time, man. Like, come on, bring Xavier through. You know what I'm saying? Let me get my first class people / maybe the first team. Maybe give me Gold. They don't even have to do first team. They can do X-Men Gold, where it's like Storm, Gambit, Beast. Well, regular Beast before he goes Dark Beast. But, Cyclops, all of them. Like, give me my team, man. Bring them in.
Yeah.
Bring in. And, they already talked about Excalibur because y'all saw they talked about Captain Britain with Henry Cavill. Y'all see that already?
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Truth, that's the reason why I actually really do enjoy X-Men First Class. That's my favorite X-Men movie. Like, really, that's my favorite X-Men movie because I said they had the chance to really hard reset and go back to the era of X-Men.
And that was a really good
we really just that movie really inspired. That movie actually inspired me to get into like comic book writing seriously because it brought me back to me reading when I was a kid. I said, "Oh shit, this is really cool." And then they didn't do anything with it. They didn't do shit with it. I'm just like, bruh, like
that was it. Just jumping.
That's why I want, if you're gonna do the mutants, give me the OG run or give me the Uncanny X-Men. Give me those two. Do one of those two. And because I don't know if you guys saw this video that went viral of Hugh Jackman was pretty much saying. He said,
he would go back in.
Yeah, he was saying that it wasn't that. He was talking about it could have been the same interview, but he was pretty much saying that when he was on set for X1 and X2, he said Bryan Singer didn't allow comic books on set because he wanted to make a real grounded movie. And I'm just like, how the fuck you gonna make a comic book movie without letting people read the comic books?
Because it's fucking Bryan Singer. That's the problem.
They said Kevin Feige used to have to go sneak comic books to them so they can understand what the characters were.
Yikes!
And so please, now that Kevin Feige's a hold of it, because the one thing I was sold on First Class, and then Bryan Singer came with Days of Future Past and fucked it all up.
Yeah,
he had one job, and he
already
fucked
did
every
like
single
comic
part of it
art,
up.
but he literally made that comic art worse. I didn't think that was possible, and he literally just said, "Hey, this is my spin on it," and it was the stupidest shit ever.
Niggas had that stank ass leather on. Imagine like you sweat and you take that hoe off. You can't really clean it correctly.
This is
like
so
you
bad.
niggas, you battling in some leather, boy.
Nigga,
they was on the Golden Gate Bridge, knowing it's hot outside with that damn leather outfit.
You know what I'm saying? Did my girl blink wrong? They had the exiles in there for like 2 seconds. I'm like,
my God.
They did. And truthfully, when they tried to come back again, they gave Nightcrawler nothing to do. How the hell is the original Nightcrawler better than the second Nightcrawler? And we are post MCU.
Yeah.
How the hell does that happen?
That was so
Alan Cumming, he was doing the prayer shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I think the mutants would be a good step, but if you're gonna go mutants, you have to be a bit more structured. And a lot of fans might lose out on the characters that they love so much, because if we've had success with there's the Avengers, there's a set number of Avengers, there's a set number of people who've been Avengers. When it comes to mutants, this is unlimited. There's so many side characters, random, who showed up in this run, but not in this one.
Because I mean, are we gonna show Forge? Are we gonna show multiple man or Zero Man? Like, are we gonna where are we going?
There's a lot you can get into. That's why I think you should just go to like a specific run. And for now, and because again, Marvel can't miss, and that's why. So there's this whole run. If you ever go through, for anybody that's ever listened to my podcast before or anything, there is this run over the course of like a year and a half. We kept talking about New Mutants because they kept pushing it back and pushing it back, pushing it back. I said, I at least have to see it because I want to see an era of X-Men that doesn't do the same X-Men that we're used to. The movie is ass, but I just wanted to see. I got tired of seeing Wolverine. I got tired of seeing Professor X because they give Professor X and Magneto the same. They give Professor X and Magneto the same character arc every fucking movie.
Got over countless movies.
Like Storm is so underutilized. It's a crime at this point.
I think there you go. But I think they should take from Gifted, even though I watched a couple episodes, I wasn't really into it. Some people
Gifted.
I feel like
I'm big on Legion. So
Legion and kind of craft a world in that same vein, because those were out there. Those were, like Ivy said, they weren't the regular X-Men we keep getting. So
they gave us Professor X's son straight up, and they said, "Hey, go with it."
And I mean, people forget, man. Just like the Avengers, like X-Men broke up plenty of times. There were plenty of times where like Scott was like, "I can't do this," and Storm was like, "All right, cool, I'll leave." There were times where like there were nobody there but like Iceman and Angel, and they were just like, "All right, let's fuck it, let's run it."
And they fucked up Angel bad. Also, how the hell did they fuck up Angel twice?
That's what Fox has done. So hopefully, WandaVision, Wanda, and the MCU going forward can course correct a lot of that stuff. I'm trying my best not to hold now. Prior to this show, I was trying to keep Fox separate and not worry about it. But you didn't put Evan Peters in here. It may have been the one-off, but now you got my mind racing again. So now
Rob
I'm like,
Boner.
You know,
that was funny. That was funny. I was in that. I'm laying in my bed like at 4:30. I'm in that. I'm chuckling. I said that was funny to me.
So I love that. What's a favorite like character? We're looking at episode 9 or WandaVision as a whole. Who you think had like a good story arc? It don't have to be Wanda because she's the default, but who's like, come on, I like
Miss Fat Booty.
Monica Rambeau. Like I gotta go with Miss Stick. Man, like I
gotta go Miss Fat Booty, Monica Rambeau. She was
thrown in, and like she uses just reason, and she's just like, nah, we gotta do this. Like she was actually Spectrum. Like my biggest fear was like, okay, one, everybody doesn't know she was one of the Captain Marvels, and I was like, two, they're not gonna get it right. Like, so when she said her name, I was like, okay. And then when they did it, how they did it,
and my thing, and she also has like really great development because we have not seen this character, even though it's been 2 years.
Yeah,
we haven't seen her since the 90s. So you're getting an understanding of they established real quick. She is as tenacious as her mother, as goal oriented, and they're very close. And she's gone, and now you're having a reason to why Monica wants to help out Wanda that much. Remember, she was only on. We saw her on screen in episode 2, but we didn't know who she really was until episode 4. They gave her a lot of development for her to be a side character.
Yeah. And she comes from this into, like we said, more than likely Captain America, Captain Marvel 2, and then where else even from there? Like who? So yeah, I'm agree with y'all. I think Wanda, of course, because she's the title character, but I think her aside, Monica had like the best story arc from her present day to the flashbacks to even bonding over this grief. And I like that. Now, I lost my mother a few years ago. So this line, even though it was a good line and it fit with the story, she said, if I had your power, I'd bring my mom back. And it was like, it was
one of those human moments where you like everybody
like you understand, like that's why that's why Wanda did bad. You're like, yo, we understand, like you didn't know what you're doing, you fucked up, but we understand why you did it, like because no one else gave a damn about. Everybody else moved on forward. If you want to know how much no one gave a damn about Vision, peep, this is a detail that not many people ever really notice until it's pointed out to them. If you watch Far From Home, no one gave a fuck about Vision that badly when they did their montage. Everybody had this clear ass photo. Vision had this fucking 480p pixely photo. No one gave a fuck about Vision outside of Wanda.
Yeah,
this government and S.H.I.E.L.D. themselves just saw him as a sentient weapon.
Yeah,
she's the only person that gave a fuck. If it was, truthfully, if it wasn't for Cap, they weren't even going to try. They weren't even going to try to find like a way to safely pull the stone out of his head where he could still live.
Gotta be the ultimate slap in the face. I've served with you niggas for a while, and you not even
trying, bro. They said, let's get. And Paul Bettany's ass, she's like, it's for the greater good. And she's like, no, fuck the niggas.
Yeah, fuck the niggas. Ain't no greater good. You not greater good. Cause hold on. I got something for that. What she say? You my what she say? You my sadness, you my love, you
man. Boy, I started crying.
And my hope.
Oh my gosh, man.
Shout out to the nigga with the turtleneck. That nigga was fresh in the bitch's last scene.
Out there, pimp.
God damn, Paul Bettany is dope.
He is.
He had to say a word.
Man,
he's great, man. Like,
and you know what else I love that, like, no matter what throughout the show, they still brought detail to a big thing about Wanda that was a big thing in the comics, and I'm glad that carried on, is that her mental instability can mean doomsday. And I love how they kept that, because that's the whole show. They touched on it on the movies, but they didn't, because when Captain America's sitting there like defending her to Iron Man, and Tony Stark's like, yo, she's a fucking problem. Look what she did. Like, she could have diverted the bomb in the air, but she threw it at people. Nah. Like, what the? And Captain America's like, listen, she's young. She didn't know. You can't fault her. We put her in the field. She's still a kid.
Also, she didn't ask. Yeah,
because I think that was within a year of her getting her power
to do the stuff. Right. But like, she was a kid was in a pretty much third world country where her parents were murdered. So it's not like, okay. So what you were saying that I'm gonna
big ass Stark Industries logo.
Look, Chris Washington says, "Are we really okay with Wanda kidnapping thousands of people?" Man, Chris, don't do Wanda like that. Don't. It was more than just. Don't.
So I have a question for y'all. Hey, so Rhayne, I brought this up to you on Twitter. I said, is it not wild that Wanda was out here sitting with her family trying to watch like sitcoms, and niggas out here getting gunned down like outside of her house? Yes. You hear motherfuckers get lit up. Like it's the 4th of July, and she just sitting in front of the TV, just
like that's cognitive dissonance for real. Like I'm not even nothing else.
Seeing that bitch watching a Dick Van Dyke show. Niggas getting.
Like, and she was just sitting there like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then it was just so sad when people were breaking out mentally. They were just like, please, I'll do whatever you want. Like, she's like,
she's like, I have a daughter. She's like, I have a daughter, and she can play with your boys. Just be giving you storylines.
Right, with her. And that's one thing that's one of my favorite scenes as well, because it's showing, just like Wanda, because the show is set up from her point of view, she is the victor. She is the protagonist. But as bad as Agatha was, which shout out to John who says, Wanda pulled that reverse 4 on Agatha's ass. As bad as
reverse, draw 4, draw 2 again. She's playing the version of Uno.
But her and Hayward both were acting in the greater good. I hate Hayward. I don't give a damn if he was doing good or not. But if he is to monitor sentient weapons, he was doing his job.
That's what I'm about to say. He got arrested out of nowhere. They fucking just cuffed his ass. Said, bro, he was doing his job because
I guess because he married the white.
He made that was the thing.
I don't know, fam. I don't know, but I like this idea that Wanda, though she's the good guy, the person we root for, she still has done so much harm, albeit subconsciously. But you have people. This woman said, "Please tell my husband never to come back here." Like how?
Yeah, that was so sad. That one, and then in the early episodes where, like even Agatha was acting like she was the big. She's like, "You want me to do it again? Is that not perfect? What do you want for And like, no, what do you? You're fine." And she does the little thing again, and it's like, man, that's
it really fit into that. That was one of the better parts of the show, because I mentioned this pretty much every episode. The fact that we're getting this situational comedy and everything is fun, but you get those brief moments where it's like
dark,
like. One of my favorites, which bear with me just a second here, I would like to share with you guys.
All those moments
was the one with Homegirl. Let's Monica, Miss Thickershoff called her. Where she
I called her Miss Fat Booty. Shout out to Miss Fat.
It ain't loaded. I was trying to pull up that scene. It's not loaded.
She was looking nice. I'm not gonna cap. She was looking nice.
All right, Ivy, this dude.
You're bigger than a bowl of oatmeal.
Man, I was like, how did Disney keep this PG-13 again? How does this?
Hey, she can't help. She got a fatty. That's not her fault.
Look how they look. Let's see. Anthony says, "What about the White Vision fight being over with Martha?" With the Martha-like moment. I am not Vision. The ship metaphor was dope, but come on. Anthony, you didn't like that.
No, you got to open your third eye, brother. Open your third eye.
Because also, here's the reason why the Martha thing doesn't work. Because at the end of the day, they're both doing the same thing. They're both killing people. People, and you would think with Batman being the world's greatest detective, he would have known that about Superman already. You would have thought he would have known that already at the point. So it's just like. It writes itself into a hole really quickly once you just even put an ounce of thought into it.
Yeah,
that's why that fucks up.
I enjoyed this ship because Anthony, we mentioned earlier that with the idea of replacing the weathered boards with new ones, do you still have the same ship? Thinking that he was going to put White Vision into a logic bomb and what Rockman used to say kill himself, but no, so I like that, but it's interesting. He's like, no, there's like a Martha moment. I don't know, man.
No, the Martha moment is still one of the worst like comic moments like ever.
They could have did much better.
And I just got done watching Superman 4: Quest of Peace, so I've seen a lot of bad comic moments.
Bro. Wait a minute, not Quest of Peace.
Stephen Ray says WandaVision for intellectuals, apparently stellar wide range acting, perfect casting, and incredible story and plots.
I can answer this one. I can answer this one actually because we're so used to media being given to us at once. People were not used to the idea of we haven't seen shows really just become just very just on this big a scale that we watch to the point where you're seeing it's taking a slow build. It's taking 1-2 episodes for you to kind of get what's going on. After one episode, you're willing to write it off. But as much as everybody knows, your pilot episode is interesting, but it's nowhere near as good as your show can get. Watch the pilot for Breaking Bad and just watch that alone and just compare it to the rest of the show. Shows take time to build, and you all your pilot is supposed to do is set the stage. Set the stage. Set up. It's pretty much set the stage and kind of just understand what the world you're going through and the characters, but make it interesting enough to where you're interested in kind of figuring out where this is going, and that's what WandaVision did.
Because people forget Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. started with that little 15-minute little trailer that they tacked on for one of the movies, and they're like, "Y'all like that? Okay, cool. That's probably gonna be a show." And I mean, like you said, like that was just enticing because it was the two scientists who got a hold of the alien weapons from the first Avengers. And they were just like, "Oh, okay, cool. We can start S.H.I.E.L.D. this way." And that's when Coulson came up, like, "Yo, we recruited them with a few other people."
Yeah,
and, that's how we got Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And that's all a pilot is supposed to be. That's why most shows now, especially in the new decade, they play the pilot and the second episode back to back because the pilot is just literally it's just whatever the show's about to be. If the show Atlanta came out, it's a hey, this slacker, this slacker of this smart slacker goes to his cousin who's a rapper and say, "Hey, let's make money.
Let's get this money."
That's that episode itself is not cool, but the second episode following, you're like, okay, I'm feeling the vibe of the show where it's going. That's what pilots are. You're supposed to give you give shows 3 episodes until it gets time to kind of build and see where it's going. After at one point it's still ass, then it's ass.
Yeah,
that's just how it goes.
This is where Paper Boy live? Oh, okay.
Nah, like just random shit. Like it ends with a gunfight. You don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. This is the Black Seinfeld. Like this is all these random.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. All of that combined, I'm hopeful for Falcon and Winter Soldier. I think, like you said, Ivy, once you've gone weird, it's hard to scale back. I feel like with Falcon and Winter Soldier, they're going to do a good job of the show, but the hype, I don't know if it'll match WandaVision.
I'm tired of you cape for Anthony Mackie. You've been cape for Anthony Mackie for 3 weeks, bro.
No, I'm saying like the show itself, I know that they're going to produce a good show.
Hey, man. Hey, leave Papa Doc alone, all right?
He did Striking Vipers. I ain't forget. I forget about Striking Vipers.
Man.
Boy, I'm on his head.
Black man need love too. Don't. No.
He played Tupac. He's thinking did.
Y'all, look, Anthony is a hole on his own with this "Make Me a Sandwich." Y'all ain't gotta.
It's that smirk that he was making though. He was like, "She got to make Daddy a sandwich." I said, "Huh?"
He ain't got no chin, man. He ain't got no chin. So what we got? Give me some final thoughts so we can go ahead and wrap this panel up. What's final thoughts, predictions, ideas, wants?
I think Spider-Man No Way Home is going to be the best shit we're ever going to see this year.
Okay.
That's my shit right there. No Way Home is going to be, if it's tying into the multiverse and dealing with Wanda in it, that's kind of what the rumor is. If that's the rumor, that's about to be the best shit like ever.
Okay.
That's kind of where I'm going because I think Wanda needs to play the Thor role in this new phase.
I think so too.
Where she's not I don't think Scarlet Witch is ready for her own movie yet, character-wise. I don't think she's ready. I don't think you should give her a subpar movie just because she has a great show. Have her feed in and out with dealing with the mutants and then give her own movie somewhere down the line. But
yes.
But I'm big.
Don't give her one until they bring Quicksilver back. If they bring Quicksilver back,
exactly. But wait until after Multiverse of Madness, No Way Home, and the Mutant show. Give those 3 things first, and then you can give her own movie. And also, for as much as I love Paul Bettany, don't bring that nigga back immediately like they did Coulson. Give it time because I want us to. Hell, let that nigga Vision go on. Let White Vision go on soul searning. Let him do some other shit. Who knows what niggas at? That nigga just flew away. He just flew away.
He's gonna be the new Silver Surfer. Shit. Hold on, real quick. Anthony says Falcon and Winter Soldier seems to be the buddy cop drama that I want.
See, that's fine.
That's what I like about. That's what I'm saying. Like, even though I feel like you went strange and weird with WandaVision, I feel like Marvel is giving us something for everybody. So we might not be hype for this shit like we was WandaVision, but I'm sure there's gonna be a slew of niggas that's like, what?
No, I'm gonna be watching, but I knew because I showed y'all my tweet. I knew last year that WandaVision is about to be the shit. Like,
I believe since day one, and I think you guys are right about that. I want to see all of that, and on top of that, again, like I said earlier in the broadcast, like they're making people in the comic book fans whether they know it or not. Like they getting ready for the big event because Infinity War was their first big event as comic book readers Whereas we're used to that. We're used to Secret Wars. We're used to like Invasion, all that. So
X-Men, yeah, all that.
Yeah. Oh god. Oh.
Okay. And then so what about you, Rockman? Any final wants, thoughts, predictions, premonitions, any of that?
So definitely the mutants. Mutants are coming. I definitely know that. They have to. I think we're gonna see a lot more new characters come into play. But I also think they're doing all this because I think they're gonna structure a new Avengers team. I don't think we're gonna see the old people anymore in terms of like Thor,
West Coast
Iron
Avengers.
Man. Yeah, we're gonna start getting West Coast, Great Lakes, just all those
that
different.
would be so smart. That would be so smart. God, go with stuff with limited runs or that people are not as fond of. Yeah.
Right, and I think that's because with them getting back all of the rights too. One thing we didn't talk about is Marvel got back all the rights from Netflix, so now they can put Luke Cage in there with Spider-Man. They can put Iron Fist. Even
give us a good Iron. Give us a good Iron Fist.
Good Iron Fist.
That's the consensus right there. Yeah,
give me a good one. Not the I'm Iron Fist. You guys. I'm Iron Fist. You guys. I'm Iron Fist. And it was just like, come on. Please. But I think we're gonna see that.
It's something about him sliding a black man didn't sit right in my spirit.
I mean, it's something about
him. He got that nigga, man.
I ain't gonna drop my man with the Wolfang fist. That's all I'm saying, man. I ain't gonna drop
this man. I don't know, man. And Louis Tan, was it the Asian dude who was drunk with the whatever? How you whooping his ass? Nah.
But I see that, and I also see a bigger Marvel universe coming up, and it's right now for them to bring in all these heroes we don't know.
They're going cosmic for sure.
Absolutely. And I think what if Marvel wanted to really put the icing on the cake, start giving all these weird characters their own individual show, and then out of nowhere, give them a team. So that way people are just caught off guard, and they're like, oh shit, like they know more about Marvel. She-Hulk and all those,
You know what I really wanted to see so badly?
What is it?
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is one of my favorite Marvel movies ever. It's like my top 5 MCU movies.
Okay.
Those post-credit scenes when they were teasing the OG Guardians of the Galaxy team after Yondu died, I said, man, listen.
Yeah.
I mean, they might,
bruh.
They still do it. We got number 3.
Because they were giving us Ving, also because they were giving us Adam Warlock. Ving Rhames was teased to be in the Guardians of the Galaxy.
So,
yeah, like give me one of those. Like what the team looked like when Yondu was on it before he got exiled. Like I'm interested in seeing shit like that because once you go cosmic, fuck it, go cosmic at this point because the cosmic side of Marvel is my favorite side of Marvel. I love the cosmic shit because the art is just so beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you got Sentry, you got just all kinds of people that can just show up and just like, okay.
Okay, Anthony says the Young Avengers are already on their way. Got Ironheart, Miss Marvel, and a few more.
They're just missing Hulk. They're just missing Hulk, really.
I think that they're probably going to combine Young Avengers and Champions. I feel like it's some kind of way they're going to mesh.
When she brings her kids back, definitely.
Well, even that, with the comic origin, which I know everything isn't the same one for one, but they were taken away by Mephisto, all that, but they came back later on. They weren't even raised together. They were adopted by 2 separate families, and then so it's endless. They can do whatever. Let's see. We got another comment. Sheena Gray. She says, "What did you guys think about the casting of WandaVision's kids?"
They were adorable.
They're awesome.
They're adorable.
So awesome.
I think
they definitely sold the idea of just like siblings. I want to say they did so well. I've gotten into collecting Funko Pops recently. Man, the 2-pack of the twins.
Yeah,
throw it out quick, bro.
I bet
with the quickness.
I bet. Yeah, they were, and it's been a while since I've watched because kid actors is kind of hit or miss. But I think those 2 little boys. I don't know if they were fans before, if they were just good at acting, but I thought that they were just as strong as Wanda and
they did. They had a whole episode where they basically did Malcolm in the Middle and killed him.
Yeah, and they had this, and it's cool. They did well of being kids understanding their powers because that's realistically how children react. Of course, the kid that's the speedster, he's gonna be a fucking asshole all the time.
Of
course, the one that's mental, he's gonna be emotional. Said, I think they're hurting. We got to go find that. She'll a little bitch ass nigga down.
And
go sit down somewhere. You can't do nothing.
I love that. Billy,
So
say what you want, but being that sensitive kid, like I was like, all right, Billy, yeah, I get it,
man. niggas out here having visions. Talking about, I feel dad, he's hurting. Like nigga, like, bro, go get punched in your chest, nigga. Like,
Wanda saw that and felt that, she was like, and she expanded the little barrier. Oh my god! I was like, okay, we in the end game now. Okay, all right,
no, for sure, end game for real. So I don't know, man. I'm one. Thank both of you for coming on to this panel, talking your stuff, teaching me something, making me even more confused about Star Wars. And
we're nerds, man. I love sci-fi.
I'm gonna get it.
I'm not. But I graduated to Blade Runner and shit. That's what my shit is now. I love like Blade Runner, THX 1138. Like I'm more into the
all Spanish to me. That was all Wakandan to me. I don't know that. But that being said, y'all make sure to check out Ivy's podcast because this little bit that you got from him, this is constant. This is dropping receipts
every fucking
ideas
every fucking week.
Yeah. So go ahead and let the folks know where they can find y'all, where they can support you, where they can consume your podcast and all that stuff. And go ahead.
Okay, well, once again, you can catch us every week, every Wednesday on the Nerd Plate. Of course, I'm on my great co-host, great co-creator, Leroy. He's crazy. You can get your nerd news from us, all the video game industry news, everything from us. You can catch us everywhere. The Nerd Plate on Twitter @NerdPlate. As well as, of course, you can check out Virtuous Armaments, which we're in season 1. I did the direction, I created, also wrote it, scored the music for it, did everything but the voice acting. Got some voice actors, you know what I'm saying? So if anybody wants a part, we're doing season 2. Holler at me. You can check that out on SoundCloud, and of course, the Nerd plays everywhere: SoundCloud, Apple, Stitcher, all those. So y'all just check us out. Thank you so much. We do have a Patreon as well. The Nerd Plate there. Look for us there. We got coffee. Any way you want to play, you can just see us on the street and give us $5 in our hand. Cash. We got you. So,
we do the Dougie for 99 cents.
This man, he said, okay, cool. And those links will be in the show notes. And Ivy, let these folks know how to support you, young man.
Yeah, you guys know me, Ivy's podcast. You can find me on Apple. Like I said, you can find me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Like I said, apparently I'm on Google Play and iHeartRadio. Follow me on Twitter @IvyNoCarter, and follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to me on YouTube Ivy Films. I'm getting into doing a lot of videos, just getting your content out there. And also, for those that don't know, Rhayne definitely knows I've been working on a novel this past like fucking 6-7 months.
Yes,
and so follow me because I'm gonna start tweeting about that shit like crazy over the course of the rest of the year. So it's about to be some shit. Like every time I'm like on the phone, like kind of hammered, telling somebody a story that I'm close with, and they're just like speechless. They say, "Yo, when is that shit dropping?" I'm like, "We hopefully at the end of the year, nigga. I'm writing, getting this shit out there." So keep follow all that. I'm just putting out a lot of content. Tweet at me if you have anything you want me to talk about personally. Just ask me, and I'm pretty much going to talk about it. I love movies, music, TV shows, comics, video games, anything really.
There you go.
Nerd life, baby. Nerd life.
Pretty much life of a fucking.
Yeah, man. And of course, y'all know me, Rhayne Coleman, Carefree Black Nerd, Carefree Blurred on Twitter, Carefree Black Nerd everywhere else. If you need to email me, please do so at carefreeblacknerd@gmail.com. The most immediate way, if you are on your phone, I say hit up that Twitter, but I answer emails as well. And all of the links to in the show notes for these gentlemen, there's their podcast, their projects, all that stuff will be in the show notes. So you really have no excuse to not follow them and give your opinion and support them. So until next time, guys, stay carefree, stay nerdy, stay geeky, stay the hell away from Wanda if your intentions aren't pure, because clearly we see Agnes, the nosy neighbor, ain't going nowhere. So
Wanda, I'm my type anyway. So You ain't gotta tell me twice.
Yo, is Wanda out here trapping? Like, if Young Vision don't trust you, I'm gonna shoot you.
What? I mean,
nah.
I don't see why not.
Not if Young Vision don't trust you. Just point me to where Miss Fat Booty's at, and we can have a conversation.
Booty, get out of here, man. Okay, y'all. Well, that's that. All right, y'all. Just hold on. All right, and let's play this.
Is it over?
No, I'm trying to play this dang on clip to take us out.
Damn. God damn.
Yeah. So next time on WandaVision. No. Yeah. So